afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to round 5 of the Mad Dragon Six Nations 2024. France versus England today. Le Crunch coming in for a big old game. If we take a look at the table as the results stood at the end of round 4, France are in third place on 11 points. A win here would see them really compete for that top spot in the Six Nations. England in fourth place on 7 points, slightly ahead of both Italy and Wales. We won't ruin the result of that game. It is also up on the channel, but all to play for in this one as France want to make a big stamp on this tournament as they go for a really high kickoff to start us out with, and no one actually collecting that, and Olivon is eventually the man who manages to collect Jalibert's kick, and there he is once again. Jalibert, little pop pass to Antonio, to Taufai for Noor, who just wants to hit the line himself. We saw this used a couple weeks ago, trying to chuck those forwards in the centre of the field to try and break the line as Cyril Bay gets it out to Lebel, gets the sidestep around one. Oh, and a lovely spin around the fullback there. George Furbank left for dead, and Matthias Lebel goes in for the first try in the first 5 minutes of the game. What great aggression from this French team, playing at home in front of the fans, wanting to try and make the most of this opportunity. Great offload there by Mofana to Cyril Bay. Look at the sidestep here, and then all the spin around George Furbank in the fullback position. And France will be very happy with how they've started out this game as Jalibert tries to calm down the situation. You can see the French flags flying in the background, just a stadium of blue today. England knew they were going to be up against this one, but taking a win here today could see them move up into third place if they can get the win over France and score 14 points or more. And England will get us restarted as the ball goes to Jalon, goes on the big crash ball here as France just want to try and get a nice clean exit through the boot of Gaël Ficou. Kicks the ball down and recovered by Radwan, trying to make a bit of a charge back the other way, not really going anywhere. Ramos wants to slow this one down and just gets a clearance from behind his own 22. The wind's actually kept it back in field, but luckily had a big enough boot that he managed to get it behind the fullback's positioning as Maxime Lucu tries his own kick now with the wind behind him. Will get it just beyond the halfway line, and that is a decent clearance from France. Will give them a little bit of breathing room as they jump up. Oh, and France managed to take the line out. Maxime Lucu does well to juggle it backwards. Oh, they tried to play the inside pass, but Gaël Ficou just passing it forwards. You thought the French players were away then. They hit a massive hole in the midfield. That forward pass letting them down slightly though. As we go for the first scrum of the game, we know French have the power when it comes to scrum time, but England's scrummaging has looked good so far across the tournament. Let's see how they'll get on today. Joe Marler having the start ahead of Ellis Genge this week to try and rebolster that scrummaging. We know how talented he is with all that experience behind him now with a number of caps as England get the early surge on in the scrum here, and they try and mix it up. Randall actually goes for a box kick over the top from the scrum. Ramos will pick this one up, and actually they think they've seen room out here as Gaël Ficou goes on the charge with Damien Penaud outside him. He's going to outrun Marchand on the wing there, and I don't think anyone's going to get back to stop Damien Penaud scoring a length of the field try between France. What was the decision for the box kick off the back of the scrum? England had too many players tied up. George Furbank had to make a massive charge to cover Gaël Ficou, and no one's going to stop Damien Penaud once he's on the charge and has room of space to work with. France have their second try. This is what they'd be wanting to see from this game, and you have to say England really need to do better than to just hand the ball back to France, as Jalibert will set up for his second conversion of the game, a much easier position directly in front of the post. You'd have to put good money on that he'll get this one over, and does. Boot it into the crowd. He's happy with it and puts France out to a 14-0 lead. England needs something to be shifted up towards the end of this first half as Jalibert goes for another big clearance kick. You can tell they know they've got the wind behind them with the often choices to go for these kicks, the very deep back up into the England half as Maxime Lucu this time tries to get France put on the front foot. Jalon has to fill in at the replacement scrum half as Francois Cron nearly managing to find a gap there as well. And again, England are a little bit short-manned on this wing as Ficou passes back inside to Maxime Lucu, not managing to get it away. And France, unfortunately, have lost a little bit of momentum there trying to deal with it. Ficou to Jalibert, out to Taufai Fanua, who's always looking to just try and make that a little bit of extra ground as Maxime Lucu gets a pop pass out to Francois Cros. And Lebel is waiting for this one out here. Mofana gets it out. The up and under kick, maybe not the right decision, and it's collected by England. And suddenly they're looking to go on the counter charge through the captain of Jamie George. If only there was a winger there with a little bit more pace supporting him. Itoje wants to put England back on the front foot. Lovely spin to get through his French defenders. Taken down though in a very quick defensive line by France today. We've seen them working on it in the past few games as Marchant gets the ball out. Nearly intercepted. Can England get with him to try and keep hold of this ball? They do manage it. Itoje, who started this entire move off, went for the up and under. Don't think it was the right move and is collected very easily by Antonio. Mofana, a little bit trapped by his own players there, does get a kick away. It's not the best kick. And suddenly Radwan, trying to get there, manages to collect his own ball on the up and under. Suddenly, England are back on the front foot through Joe Marler, getting driven back in an enormous tackle by Matthias Lebel there, doing very well. And suddenly, England trapped on the edge of this touchline. France trying to use it as a 16th defender. Can England get this one around this French wall? You can see how fast they're off the line. They need to get that ball out a little bit wider, a little bit sooner as they go for another kick through. These kicks, they're obviously trying to pin France back. They're not really leading to anything though, as Antonio has to try and make some hard work through some players there. France look a little bit out of shape, so they're going to drop it back here. Mofana wants to clear his lines, tries to find touch and doesn't manage it. The wind not really working with him there. And again, Radwan trying to make room down this wing. The halftime whistle just around the corner as Itoje goes on the flying surge. He's also got Marchant with him. The pass back inside to Itoje. What a brilliant piece of work linking up together there to just break through this French defensive line, which has looked so good all half. And the ingenuity of Itoje coming out of nowhere. Look at this for a crash ball line. Just hitting that gap, gets that offload, and bang, Marchant is through. Itoje does good work to loop back around with him, waits for that offload to come in, and Ramos not going to be able to tackle both men. And George Ford has the opportunity right at the end of the half to put England back in this game if he can get this conversion over. Let's see how he gets on. Decent kick straight through the centre of the post, and he knows that kick may have just brought England back into this game as we go in at half-time. 14 points to 7. Well, who doesn't love a bit of Le Crunch? France versus England, two teams competing to try and finish third in this year's Mad Dragons Six Nations tournament. But France, if they get a win here today, could be looking to finish even higher. France getting on the early scoreboard then through Lebel with his dancing feet, being able to get around two players to get over for the first try of the game down in this left-hand corner, converted over by Jalibert. And France have really been on the big press today. They have been really pushing England back into their own 22. One of the better opportunities was actually when England had a scrum, decided to be box kicked from the back of the scrum, and unfortunately punished for not being able to support their own kick there as France managed to play out of their own 22, getting the ball out to Damien Penaud on the wing, who just coasted it over from one end of the field to the other, and France had their second try of the game. France have been trying to find those gaps, but England are actually the ones that finished us out at the end of that first half. Maro Itoje, who has been looking to make those breaks all day today, managing to get the pop pass off to Marchant, breaking through that French line, looping up and linking back up with Itoje to go over for the first try for England today. George Ford converting that one over means we go in at halftime 14 points to 7, but it's not what England will want. They'll want to score more today and be able to get the win over France. On to the second half then, and a big change made in the French camp as Jalibert has apparently picked up an injury towards the end of that first half. He's gone off. Thomas Ramos has moved into the fly half shirt, meaning Jaminet has come on in the fullback position. But France will be happy with that kickoff going wrong for England. Means that they get to have a scrum on the halfway line straight from the kickoff. And that's the last thing Steve Borthwick would want to be seeing from these England players today, just to give away an easy infringement that gives France great possession of the ball when they should be stuck in their own 22 as the French scrum holds up a Maxime Lucu now on the charge, trying to go himself, links up with the new fly half that is Ramos, tries to get the pass out to Lebel, doesn't get there. I think there might have been a knock on from an English hand there. The referee hasn't seen it, but that kick did go straight into touch, so we'll go back for it. But Lebel decides to take it quickly. They're not going to wait for it. English players running back for that line out. You'd have to say maybe they got away with one with a knock on there, but France decided to take the line out quickly. We haven't seen it a lot over the course of this tournament as Malvaca manages to get the bounce pass out to Pinot, back inside to Maxime Lucu. Who's going to be able to support him? France managed to recover their own ball. Can they go left? Ramos now back in that fly half position where he is experienced with. He should be able to still hold out well with Jaminet now playing in that fullback position as Lucu goes quickly to Francois Croix, goes out to Ficou. Can he draw in the man? And does. Lebel not managing to get away from George Furbank though, who does very well to shut down that attack. Hard work from him. The ball dropped again. I feel like there's potentially another knock on. The referee being very generous to the way the English players are doing their handling at the minute, but France managed to reclaim the ball, and Damien Pinot thinks he can see room behind the English winger here, doesn't manage to make it work, and Elliot Daly goes for a clearance kick, and Jaminet slightly out of position covering Damien Pinot there. It goes back to Gelange as Jaminet wants to get that clearance kick away, trying to find the grass over here. Just goes back to Elliot Daly, who once again another massive kick from him pushes France all the way back. Can Jaminet have a better second kick this time? Doesn't look like he's going to find touch again. Finds grass. They believe in their own fitness. They want to play an open game. That one very close to being charged down, and Cyril Bay is the man who eventually comes away with it. And can Damien Pinot break away down this wing? Oh, nearly managing to get past Elliot Daly, doing well defensively there to hold him up as Antonio gets it out to Taufai Fanua. Ramos passes it back inside to Morfana. This is great work by the French team. Can Lebel run around Radwan? Not an easy task to do, and does get chased down. We know the speed that Radwan does have. It's very hard to run around him, and well played to be able to put him into touch there as we go for an English line out taken well by Itoje. He's holding it up in the maul. Only 20 minutes left on the clock now. England need to do something to get back into this game. The maul's still going on. Where will England take this one? They want to go up that blind side and manage to do it well, but a little bit close to touch. Some of those set plays today out the back of the set piece really haven't worked well for England as France play a wild line out the back here. Oh, Mofana thought he had a man on his shoulder, and turns out he doesn't. It's an English player who manages to collect the ball, and Jaminet this time running it back down. Who's with him though out on this wing as Jaminet links up with Ramos out to Charles Olivon, gets it passed back inside to Anthony Chalon, back in to Olivon. Chalon seems to have picked up a bit of an injury there, looking a little bit uncomfortable. Let's see if France can keep this one going, even though they might be down a man for a portion of time, and England have managed to reclaim the ball. Joe Marler a little bit slow to get this one out of the back of the ruck, and France try and take back over. They don't manage it. England playing a bit more of an offloading game. They know the clock getting away from them. Gael Ficou not managing to take that ball, and Marchant once again trying to run around the outside of Jaminet, who's got to close down his man. Oh, he's so close to the try line. England are very close to being able to get back into this game. France hold it up really well. The injured Gelon has to run in and tackle his opposite number there. England are right in front of the post. If they can just get that one extra playthrough, they went for the interception. Elliot Daly manages to cling on to the ball. Can France hold on to it? They do. They just want to try and gain a bit more territory back down as they go for the box kick out towards the touchline, and it is Furbank driven into touch. France then with the line out as they go out to the back. Lucu gets it to Ramos, wrapped up by English hands though, and France, can they play this one out wide? Ficou leaves that ball to go a little bit loose, and suddenly England have one more opportunity from nowhere right at the end of this game to make this one count. It's the scrum half bouncing through tackles. They try and go through the big men now through the lock. Gelon is still looking a little bit wary out on his legs out there as England try and go wider this time. Elliot Daly's cut inside to try and see if that makes a difference. They're going still down to this left hand wing as Marler this time carries it up to the line. France defending very nobly here on their own 5-metre line. England looking for the big press. Can they make something work for them? A good offload there as they move up a couple metres closer. Can they keep that press going? They go out to the wing. Jalon has to get back across. He's still managed to make that tackle. He's limping all over the field, but does very well to hold on to it. Taufai Fanua tries to get the interception this time. Not managing it. Henry Slade doesn't manage to get there. And France get the turnover. What incredible defence by the French players here. And Jaminet just wants to clear that one off the line and gets it into touch. It is a win for France. And they were hard pressed right up till the end of the game. That man there, Jalon, who's had to work for the final 10 minutes of that game with quite an injury to him. He does not look comfortable at all. Very well played. Itoje there, who's played so well in this game and across the tournament, meaning that France take this win today, will secure their 3rd place position. England will finish in 4th place on 7 points. France move up with 15 points due to this win. They are actually technically in 1st place for now until we get to see the result of the Ireland versus Scotland game. If either of those two teams wins that match and there's no bonus points either way, it will mean that France will actually finish 2nd in the Mad Dragon series. But if there is a bonus point or a draw, they will finish 3rd. What a game we had today, guys. Hopefully you've enjoyed this one. If you have, make sure to leave it a like. Do you think this will be a similar result to what we could see on the weekend, or do you think England will be able to cause an upset in France? Drop it down in the comment section, guys. I'll see you all next time for the final game of the Mad Dragon Six Nations 2024. Bye bye.